Wins News Time 8:11. Let's get you where you need to go with Kelly Dillon.
We are bumper to bumper in Queens on the Grand Central Parkway, heading westbound into 94th Street. The two right lanes are down with a crash, and then also backing up as well on the eastbound side as well. A separate problem spot now takes out a lane. Busy on the outbound Gowanus in Brooklyn. An accident reported right before the belt, so traffic backing up to Hamilton Ave. And the BQE both ways is stop and go at Atlantic Avenue. The northbound Deegan, it's slow at 179th Street with a stalled car in the right lane in the Bronx. And here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Outbound George, upper deck down to a 20-minute wait. Lower deck a bit better. And then inbound, it is quiet and not too bad either way at the Lincoln or Holland. Kelly Dillon, 1010 wins at 92.3 FM.
Now the AccuWeather 4-day forecast. Meteorologist Brian Thompson.
Tonight's going to be a warm night with clouds and a couple of showers, even a thunderstorm, especially during the early part of tonight, a low of 58. Then windy and turning sharply colder tomorrow with rain at times. Some wet snowflakes could even mix in later in the day as temperatures rapidly fall into and through the 40s, many spots near 40. By the end of the day, we'll drop to 32 tomorrow night as the sky clears. It will stay brisk and a blustery day on Friday with clouds and breaks of sun. A chilly day, too, a high only 47, especially with the wind. Now, there could be a shower north and west of the city Friday night and a gusty breeze Saturday with a partly sunny sky and a high near 50. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on New York's weather station. 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
59 degrees with light rain in the city. We're going down to 58 in Midtown. New Yorkers looking to cash in on renting their rooms out to people coming to see World Cup games this summer are facing hefty fines.
The city's Department of Buildings has collected close to $400,000 from property owners that have been illegally renting out rooms that didn't pass DOB standards. Stephen Phillip is the CEO of Partnership for NYC.
City Council and the mayor has made it difficult for people to Airbnb their house.
Several business leaders, including Partnership for NYC, has called on the city to relax its laws, especially with the FIFA World Cup quickly approaching.
You have, 400 people violating the rules out of millions of housing units. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't relax the rules this summer.
The city has strict rules in place, especially when it comes down to converting and renting out single rooms. It can cost you thousands in fines as a result. Mary Lynn Buckley, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
The Iranian World Cup team will apparently not need accommodations for the games. Iran Sports Minister Ahmed Danyamali says, quote, due to the wicked acts against Iran by the U.S. imposing two wars and killing and martyring thousands of people, it is definitely not possible to take part in a U.S. World Cup because Iranian players would not be safe in the U.S. Iran has 3 matches scheduled in L.A. and Seattle, and FIFA representatives say they're welcome to play following a discussion with White House FIFA task force leader Andrew Giuliani. Plans to convert a NoHo parking lot into yet another Manhattan high-rise now running into opposition from people who say the design doesn't fit with the historic character of the neighborhood.
Opponents of the proposed apartment complex at Lafayette and Great Jones Street say it's completely out of character with the neighborhood. Irina Grinberg lives nearby.
We completely support, of course, the building to be built on this lot, but it has to be harmonious and it has to be much, much smaller.
Preservationist Andrew Berman points out the 220-foot tall building is as wide as a football field.
So this building and this design needs a little more variation, a little more of what would make it blend in with this historic neighborhood.
Developers want to build more than 200 apartments, a quarter of them for lower-income New Yorkers. Marla Diamond, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
A new report from State Controller DiNapoli taking a closer look at how the city is handling the increase in people living unsheltered lives and how much it's spending to address the issue. It says New York provides shelter to about 97% of its homeless population, a number far higher than most other major cities, almost double that of Los Angeles. Deputy State Controller Rahul Jain.
The total homeless population is larger than Los Angeles. It's the unsheltered population, the folks who are not in a shelter, that is much smaller. And I think that is a function, number one, of course, of the fact that the city has a right to shelter.
He says it's largely because of the city's unique policy here requiring to provide emergency shelter to all who ask for it. The report calls on the city and DHS to track outcomes for people who do accept help. Consumer inflation maintained the same pace of growth in February. but March gasoline hikes could send it even higher.
The government's consumer price index rose 2.4% year over year, while the core rate, factoring out food and gas prices, rose 2.5% in February, both numbers meeting market estimates. The Fed focuses on the core rate as inflation in services has been sticky in its view, and medical care saw a stronger gain, although prescription drug prices dipped. Inflation has been accelerating at a faster pace in 2026 than the Fed is comfortable with, and the market is pricing in a continuing pause on interest rates through June, with odds slightly favoring a quarter-point cut in July.
Correspondent Jason Brooks. A new payphone connects Boston college students with seniors in Nevada.
The graphics on the bright yellow phone on Commonwealth Avenue read, "Call a Boomer." It connects to a similar phone at a senior living complex in Reno. Kala Kessler is with the group Matter Neuroscience, which set up the phones to connect boomers and zoomers.
They're two of the loneliest demographics.
Kira made a call.
I love it. I mean, I think younger people and older people, I would argue, need to talk to each other more.
We're often in our little bubbles, and we have a lot to learn from each other, despite our differences.
That report from Michael Wallace, which brings this to mind. The 10-10 Wins Pickleball Tournament has reached legendary status. This time we're headed to Sport Time Pickleball in Wayne, New Jersey. Register Friday at 1010wins.com.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
56 degrees, cloudy skies. There is some rain moving through. Good evening. I'm Lane Bajardi. Here's what's happening at 8:20. 1974 murder of a woman on Long Island finally scientifically connected to a killer who died without paying for the crime. Small business owners say not so fast with that talk of raising the city's minimum wage to $30 an hour. Opposition growing to a plan to build a high-rise apartment building on a NoHo parking lot. Like their counterparts in Albany, Washington state lawmakers looking to raise taxes on their richest citizens. And an AI-generated character is now dropping a music video. Nixon, Utah tonight. AccuWeather says cloudy and warm. Couple of showers and a thunderstorm around. Low 58. Colder tomorrow. Winds news time 8:21. Let's get you where you need to go with Kelly Dillon.
LARR trouble tonight. We've got limited train service operating between Atlantic Terminal and Jamaica for ongoing signal trouble. On the road, the mess on the Grand Central heading eastbound. Right as you approach 94th Street, it is a stalled car and a crash there in the center lane. So that is at a standstill through LaGuardia. Eastbound, the LI East stop and go between Woodhaven and the Grand Central. Still quite busy on the southbound Van Wyck heading into Hillside Ave in Queens. In Brooklyn, big mess on the outbound Gowanus now before the belt. There's an accident knocking out a lane. Traffic at a standstill back to Hamilton Ave and also inbound rubbernecking. The westbound belt backing up now at Ocean Parkway with a crash, and that's closing a lane. Here's what we see on Long Island's Big Three. Moving well in Nassau County tonight on the LIE and no trouble on the northern or southern state parkways. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Outbound George, upper deck down to a 10-minute wait. Otherwise quiet again across the George and quiet both ways at the Lincoln and Holland. Kelly Dillon, 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
A 52-year-old murder case on Long Island has been solved now thanks to investigative genetic genealogy. Nassau County Police hope it'll bring closure for the family of a mother who was sexually assaulted and murdered.
Larry Waldman was only 5 when he got off the bus and found his 31-year-old mother, Barbara, murdered inside their Oceanside home in 1974.
You know, I've had the image of my mom in my head since I'm 5, and it won't go away until I die.
Authorities say they now know who killed the mother of 3, Thomas Generosio, a sanitation worker from Oceanside. He died in 2004. Waldman's daughter never gave up hope the case would be solved.
It is an emotional and psychological resolution.
No motive for the murder was given by police. Sophia Hall, 1010 Wins, 92.3 FM on Long Island.
4 gang members indicted for the deadly shooting of a 16-year-old girl nearly 3 years ago. All 4 men accused of shooting and killing Claudia Quady back in May of 2023. According to the indictment, Quade was with a group of friends in St. Albans when one of the people in that group arranged to meet up with the gang members. That meeting got heated. Two of the defendants opened fire. Quade, shot in the head, died at the hospital. Queens DA Melinda Katz says gang violence terrorizes neighborhoods, puts innocent people at risk, leaves lasting trauma for families and communities for decades. If convicted, all four of them could face up to 25 years to life behind bars. The small business community reacting to calls for a $30 minimum wage in the city. Some say it'll help the economy. Others say it forces mom and pop shops to close.
Supporters of 30 an hour, like council member Chris Marte, say they already know what, as he calls them, the haters will say.
As a city, we're following other cities across this country, and we don't hear news from over there saying that they're bankrupt. We don't hear news from over there saying that people are moving out.
Steve Fulop, who runs the Partnership for New York City supporting small businesses, says that's wrong.
There are plenty of case studies and examples throughout the country of what happens. Yes, wages go up for some people, but their hours get cut.
He doesn't think something like this should be done in an experimental way. Mac Rosenberg, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
An appeals court has ruled that the Trump administration must keep making payments on the Gateway Tunnel project, rejecting the government's bid to halt paying its fair share of the $16 billion Hudson River Rail deal. Governor Hochul took to social media, posted another loss for Trump, another win for New Yorkers. Gateway paused earlier this year after the DOT pulled funding, saying it needed to review vendor contracts to ensure advantages were not given to women and minority-owned contractors. A girl reported kidnapped from Southern California in 2020 has been found safe in the South.
Karen Rojas disappeared from the Southern California city of Duarte in 2020 when she was 5 years old. She's now 11 and has been found safe enrolled in school under an alias in Washington County, North Carolina. Her mother, who had custody of her in 2020, allegedly took her and fled to North Carolina, where the two had been living. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department says Rojas is safe and in protective custody. Her mother has not been arrested. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
56 degrees, cloudy skies. AccuWeather says cloudy and warm with a couple of showers, even a thunderstorm around tonight, especially through midnight, low 58. There is some rain coming across New Jersey. We saw some light showers as well in the city. Windy and turning sharply colder tomorrow with rain at times. Some wet snowflakes could even mix in later in the day. Temperatures rapidly falling into and through the 40s. Now, Bloomberg Money Watch.
Just ahead of the busy spring home buying season, average long-term mortgage rates moved higher last week by the most in 6 months. Now at 6.19% for a 30-year fixed. Oil closed higher today at $87 a barrel, despite the International Energy Agency planning to release 400 million barrels of crude inventories to dozens of countries to keep oil prices from moving much higher. The Dow today down 289 points, over 0.5% lower. The Nasdaq 19 points higher on the strength of Oracle shares. The S&P 500 was down 6. I'm Tom Busby. Bloomberg Money Watch on 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
1010 Wins.
I love that it's local.
Local first.
Live and local.
1010 Wins.
All news, all the time. On 92.3 FM.
I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg with your weekend weather update. On Saturday, expect partly sunny skies with a brisk breeze reaching a high of 52. Saturday night will be chilly with a low of 37. Moving into Sunday, there might be a stray morning shower, but otherwise it will be mostly cloudy with a high of 52.
AccuWeather 4-day forecast on the way in 2 minutes. Winds news time, 8:30.
Good evening, I'm Mario Bosquez. Another preservation battle brewing in lower Manhattan in NoHo. Developers want to build a new apartment complex on an existing parking lot at the corner of Lafayette and Great Jones.
The fight is pitting preservationists against affordable housing advocates.
What's in play here is not whether or not housing is built on the site. What's in play here is exactly what it looks like.
Preservationist Andrew Berman among those demanding design changes.
The proposed design is for a building that is both exceedingly large compared to its surroundings, but in some ways, even more disturbingly, the design is just incredibly monotonous.
Manhattan Borough President Brad Hoylman Siegel disagrees.
Even if one agrees that the size and scale of the proposed building is inappropriate, that concern is dwarfed by the size and scale of New York's housing crisis.
Marla Diamond, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
As of now, no date has been set to revisit the proposal. When News USM 831 is get you where you need to go with Kelly Dillon.
We got trouble on the Garden State Parkway if you're traveling northbound tonight in New Jersey. Exit 141 in Union. Looks like we've got the 2 center lanes out. Some debris on the roadway here, so use some extra caution traveling through that section. Then heading farther north, more debris in the center lane, exit 145 for 280. So a bit slow through both those areas. Westbound Route 3, it is picking up at the western spur of the turnpike now. Construction takes out a lane here. We are bumper to bumper in the Bronx on the northbound Deegan into Fordham Road. There's a stalled car in the right lane. Big mess in Brooklyn on the outbound Gowanus. And right before the belt, an accident has 2 lanes out. Traffic's at a standstill back to Hamilton Ave, and inbound rubbernecking delays continue as well. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Across the George, both directions, upper lower decks are moving well and no trouble along at the Lincoln or Holland tunnels. Kelly Dillon, 1010 wins at 92.3 FM.
Let's get a check of the AccuWeather forecast with meteorologist Brian Thompson.
There still will be a couple of showers, even a thunderstorm around tonight, especially early on. It'll be cloudy and warm, a low of 58. Windy tomorrow, and it is going to turn sharply colder with rain at times. Could even have some wet snowflakes mixed in later in the day as temperatures fall from close to 60 early into the 40s through the afternoon, even close to 40 by day's end. Clearing brisk and colder tomorrow night, low 32. Blustery and chilly Friday with clouds and some breaks of sun, high 47. Might be a shower north and west of the city Friday night. And some sunshine Saturday with a gusty breeze. Saturday's high near 50. More clouds around Sunday, but it still looks dry during the day before we expect some rain into Sunday night. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on New York's weather station. 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
The city's controller sending up a red flag today about the city's budget, saying the budget gap stands, according to him, $7.3 billion this fiscal year and the next. A darker prediction than the mayor's most recent re-estimate of that readjusted $5.4 billion. The mayor putting forward a city property tax hike as a possibility. Louisa Chaffee, director of the city's independent budget office, says there are other ways to raise money without a property tax rate increase.
There are a number of very large areas where the state is imposing unfunded state mandates on the city, and the state, with their reserves and general financial position, could fund the requirements they are making of New York City. There are a number of examples in the Department of Education.
City Controller Mark Levine.
Raising property tax rates would simply compound the harm done by an already unfair system, while simultaneously exacerbating our housing affordability crisis. For this reason alone, I strongly oppose raising them.
From a council preliminary budget hearing, some states are working on taxing higher income households.
This year, the effort is advancing in Washington, which doesn't have a state income tax. Facing a budget shortage, lawmakers are debating a proposal that would create a nearly 10% annual tax on personal earnings over $1 million. If adopted, the tax would collect billions of dollars of new revenue that would be designed to pay for free K-12 school meals, child care services, and a family tax credit. Republican House lawmakers worry that taxes on the wealthy are not a comprehensive solution to addressing state revenue concerns and can drive away businesses. Washington State Representative April Connors.
If Washington State or any other state of those 9 decide to implement an income tax, they're actually going to be driving innovation and technology and business entrepreneurs out of their state.
I'm Haya Pinjwani.
There's a Swiss company that says it can clean up all the space trash.
When do you need much more than a broom? When you've got tens of thousands of dangerous objects in orbit around the Earth. Luc Piguet says his startup, ClearSpace, can fix that.
What we're building here is not just one company. It's a complete industry of servicing that will transform the way space operates tomorrow.
The company has built a sort of tow truck that can chase down dead satellites and grab them with a robotic claw. It could also refuel or extend the life of working satellites.
Allison Keys, researchers say climate change changing the upper atmosphere as well in ways that make space junk linger. An historic homegoing after a long legal battle.
Harvard University has handed over rare 1850 photos of enslaved people to a museum in Charleston, South Carolina. Descendants of a father and daughter featured in what are believed to be the first photographs taken of enslaved people say they